So let's chat. Y'all should love me because when's the last time y'all got 2 videos in like this close together? You ain't, cause you know I be having a life now. Back then when I used to film a few times a week, I ain't had shit else to do. I got stuff to do now. Okay, thank God for that. All right, so we ain't talk about no mess in a minute. So that's what I'm here to, spend a little time on today. Not too much because it ain't too much to say, but as you know, on my channel, we've talked about like the whole like Ari and G Herbo, because that was like, the cute little Chicago ghetto couple. Now we got India and Dirt. But today we're going to talk about, obviously, Ari and the remarks that she recently made that pretty much got it, but it seems like her Fenty sponsorship taken away from her. And, when it comes to Ari, I think she one of them people that, you can have a love-hate relationship with from the outside looking in, especially for those of us that keep up, with the socialites and, that sort of thing. But it's like, again, I there are moments where I really want to love her, and there are moments where I'm like, sis, I thought we were growing past this. And this last incident was one of those moments, right? So pretty much, let's backtrack on what happened. She was featured on a podcast with Don't Call Me White Girl. I love that girl. Let me just stop there. I love Don't Call Me White Girl. She is fucking hilarious. Okay, I need to actually start like listening to podcasts more because that's one I would listen to. But so she goes on there and Ari pretty much is talking about like her growth, how much she has changed in her relationship with Moneybagg, by basically saying, the toxic stuff don't fly with him. Like, he don't care. You say you want to leave in the middle of the night, he gonna let your ass leave. He not finna sit here and fight with you or whatever. So she made a remark of something saying like, she used to niggas pulling a gun out. You ain't going nowhere. Like, on that type of stuff. And is it ghetto? Yes. Is it toxic? Absolutely. But, like, look at who we're talking to. I'm not gonna necessarily say, oh, it's a Chicago thing. I think that sometimes girls, they get wrapped up in abusive behavior that they can justify as being in love or the jealousy needed to keep the spark in a relationship. There are people who have very unfortunate conceptions around what love and relationships improving that is supposed to look like. And she kind of falls into that category, right? Like girls who date, I ain't even gonna say girls who date hood niggas, gangbangers, rappers, whatever. Because I don't think they would all stand for that. But I do think that there is a very specific type of person, girl, who finds things like that enticing. They think it keeps it spicy. Remember, I don't know if I said this on my channel, but it's definitely in my book. People confuse chaos with passion. And that, in a sense, you can look at and say that's fucking chaotic to want somebody to pull a gun out on you to, like, tell you ain't going nowhere. But that feels passionate to them, okay? So, in the sense of that, I understand, of course, saying things like that out loud, people gonna come and, they're gonna put their narrative on it. So, of course, people jumped in saying that that's abusive behavior. We shouldn't romanticize that. We shouldn't glorify it or say it or make it seem like it's something that's cute because it's not. Of course, Ari don't like people talking about her negatively. So she came back and she made a video. She went live, and from the gist of it was basically saying that the stories that people were sharing about being in abusive relationships where they may have had a gun pulled out on them and had their lives threatened in some capacity, that she is, like I said, romanticizing, glorifying that sort of behavior. And these women are like, no, this is my story. This is what happened to me. This is how I was affected by it. It's trauma. All that other stuff that people would, of course, say. And Ari took that and in that live was saying that she didn't care. That nobody cared about their people's sob stories. Nobody cared about what they had been through. Nobody cared from what I remember, because I only watched it once. That was what really upset people, is that, like, she was pretty much downplaying the experience of people who were refuting what she had originally said in that interview or on that podcast. A few things. I just think she is reckless. I don't necessarily think that she is a malicious person. I don't think that. And again, this is just my perception based off of the things that I see, based off of, following her like the rest of the world do, right? I think what is going against her is the fact that we have heard in previous, situations with her in the media or whatever, that supposedly Herb was abusive to her. We all also know that there was video footage when they were still together that was put out of her looking like she was abusive to him, right? So potentially being in situations, and again, this is why sometimes, like, trauma can be in the eye of the beholder, because in certain situations, people look at that, inter-relationship violence, and they normalize it, and they think that that's just what couples do, right? Like, so for them, it's like not this old big thing, but from people who know that that's not okay, it feels very alarming and concerning. So I'm not making excuses for her. I think that Ari she can be reckless. I think that to have the type of attention that she gets, influence, because she's an influencer. And as an influencer, you got to be more careful, okay? Because you can lose opportunities by not approaching situations with some tact. And that's what I think she lacked. It's like, when you get to a certain level of success, you can't be so quick to always clap back at certain things or in certain ways, right? Like, I think there's a lot to be learned from Miss Tabitha Brown, because Miss Tabitha Brown will read people, in a very beautiful and respectful way, to the point where you like, oh, you should feel bad about yourself. Like, Miss Tab had to give you a blessed day read, like. And that's what Ivory got to learn how to start doing. She got to start learning how to give people have a blessed day read. Because coming back in the way that she did, obviously we know that Rihanna does not play about domestic violence. She does not play about abuse. And she ain't going to say nothing about her business. She just went and she going to snatch you up. And now you have to remain humble in some way. Because one thing I'm glad she hasn't done is, even though people have been talking about her losing the Fenty sponsorship, she hasn't come on and said, like, I don't give a fuck, like, because, again, that's bad for business. But she got to start having, meetings with PR. So these people don't have PR no more, okay? Like, nobody consults about anything. And we need to take some of these people's lives away. Like, lives is not helpful. My phone clearly hates me these days because they want to keep cutting out in the middle of my motherfucking videos. But like I was saying, yeah, when you just got that type of, like, status, you can't be so reckless. You can't be online saying whatever it is that you want. Like, again, when she did the podcast, if that was your experience and, that's what you felt like you wanted to share, okay, great. You can stand on what you said. But to bring in the people in the comments that are giving you the backlash about being a victim of abuse, wrong. All she needed to do was not necessarily apologize for what she said, but to recognize that behavior is unfavorable for most people, that it can be triggering, you know what I mean? And that she didn't go into saying what she said with the intent to downplay or minimize abuse. That's all she had to say. And to recognize and to send love and light to whoever is dealing with, situations. And to remind people that she, in fact, was speaking on her growth. In fact, speaking about the fact that that's not stuff that she really needs to be engaging in anymore because she's with somebody who can have mature conversations. That was it. But when you go in trying to prove how big and bad, and that's what I feel like might be her downfall. It's like remaining humble in moments in which you kind of need to be humble. Like coming in and, you know, we already know Ari is the you broke queen. So she gonna call somebody broke and say they ain't got what she got. But at a certain point, I think that there could be room for her to soften her image more, you know, be a bad bitch, but be a bad bitch who cares. Okay, not one who is so down putting. And I hope to be able to see that from her, because I do think that in certain ways she has grown and become better. But then we see situations like this where kind of knocks you back 10 steps. So wish that for her. As we see, G Herbo is getting ready to have another baby with Taina. They have grown on me since I first, you know, did a video about their whole situation. I'm not gonna lie about that. Their little family is cute. That baby, yo, sign number 2. Okay, her genes are strong. Like, he done knocked out everybody else's characteristics, because his gene pool ain't playing. But yeah, I kind of like them together. I like Big and Ari together. You know, she got to see the bigger picture sometimes. But now we're gonna start getting the when is he gonna marry Taina, when they get married, because you know we hate to see a multiple baby mama and no ring. Now I know everybody like, oh, fuck a ring, blah blah blah, but he done said he gonna do it. Let's just see how long it take him to do it. I mean, I'm sure what Dirk just did had probably lit some fire in his ass, because I mean, at this point, y'all niggas, they ain't that young no more. What y'all waiting on? Like, I feel like they around my age. Like, they not knocking on 30 if they ain't 30. So y'all might as well lock it down when you ain't got the money to do it. So hey, why not? So that's it for today. I just kind of wanted to chat with y'all a little about my feelings about my good sis Ari. You know, I want her to thrive and to be successful and to do better. So just staying on brand for what we've discussed in the past. If you haven't caught those old videos, go ahead and watch them. But that's all I got for this week, y'all. Y'all have a blessed day, all right?